Perfect. I want to be able to respect everyone's time. So let me go ahead and introduce myself. I am Mary Angie Carriles. I am the HR Manager of Professional Development, and I will be here to assist you with any questions throughout the program. Welcome to today's webinar, Closing the Gap Between People and Possibilities. April is National Fair Housing Month. We are very excited to be able to share with you the new Harris County's single-family new construction home program. This program matches individuals and family with opportunities to purchase affordable new homes in growing developments throughout the county. As part of the Harris County Project Recovery, the single-family new construction program is designed to support home buying opportunities for qualified applicants. So this is very important topic today. I think it will be very beneficial for you as a realtor to know more about it so that you can educate your clients. Now, I know a lot of you were asked if this webinar will be recorded, and yes, we will be recording this webinar so that you can also be an advocate for this program and spread the word. But obviously, just being here on the webinar live is always a great experience. We also will have a Q&A, so you can answer all the questions that you have regarding this program. Now, let me formally introduce everyone that is here today with us. Just to give you an introduction, Michael Davis is with us today. He is a realtor, a broker, and a business owner. He's also part of the HR Professional Advisory Group and is part of the subcommittee of housing affordability. So thank you so much, Michael, for being here with us and spreading the word, this very important topic.
Absolutely. Thank you. I'm excited to be here. I also want to give recognition to the Houston Black Real Estate Association, which this is a part of our Realtors Week. So I'm pretty sure there are going to be other opportunities for us to make mention of that as well. But I'm super excited to hear what we have to hear from the county and this great program that they have.
Of course, and you will be doing the Q&A, so that part is very important so that people online can get all their questions answered. I would also like to introduce Sherry Cooper. She's been a realtor for more than 22 years. She really enjoys helping buyers navigate throughout the home buying process. Sherry has been a part of the single family new construction program for about 10 months and has been a wonderful experience because it allows her to do something she enjoys while giving back to the community at the same time. We also have Tara right here with us. Tara Lucas recently joined the team at Harris County, and she feels very blessed to be part of a program that focuses on helping individuals who once thought that they weren't able to ever be homeowners. Tara is a native Houstonian, mother of two, and a licensed realtor as well. So welcome, Tara. And then finally, we have Karina Nelson. She has been with the Harris County for about 1 year now and is fortunate enough to be joining the new construction program. She has learned a lot about the program and really enjoys getting people to achieve home ownership. So we have a great panel today with us. A lot of information is going to come your way. So make sure you write all your questions down on the chat. If you want to just send it to the panelists, you can do so, or you can just send them to everyone, but we'll make sure to answer all your questions at the end of their presentation. So let me pass the virtual floor down to you ladies.
We definitely are excited to be here. We want to just, first of all, say thank you for inviting us to be a part of this webinar. It's our pleasure to be able to communicate with the HAR as well as all our participants. This program is an awesome program, so our responsibility is to make sure that we can get the word out. So we are truly excited to be here and hope that this will be very beneficial to realtors. I almost said us as realtors, but I'm not really representing the buyers at this point. I'm representing Harris County, but I still do have a passion for helping new homeowners or prospective homeowners to purchase homes that they would not ordinarily think that they could afford. So we're truly excited to be here, and we just want to talk about the program and kind of give an overview, of our program. And this presentation is prepared for realtors as well as lenders. Just a little bit. So the team that's here is myself, and I am the supervisor over the built inventory side of the program. So the team that's here, Tara works as a real estate liaison, and Karina is our eligibility specialist. So I'll give them an opportunity to kind of explain what they do as the relates to the program and how it operates, the processes that are in place. But just a little bit about the program. It's our mission is to provide affordable housing to low to moderate income families. Their AMI has to be LMI has to be below 80% in order for them to potentially qualify for the home. Our goal obviously is to provide a quality home. We know in Houston, there is a shortage of affordable housing opportunities. So it is our pleasure to be able to kind of help, with that shortage and to make a dent in the issues that we find ourselves in. 70% of the applicants must have been directly affected by Harvey, and that's because this money was received as part of a grant that came after Harvey. So it's really important that we help those who were impacted and those who have been displaced find homes that are in areas that don't have a tendency to flood. So that is something that we, is a program guideline that we must follow. Just a little bit of background about, as I said, the funding came from Harvey. The stakeholders in this are going to be real estate agents, home buyers, lenders, home developers. Those are all the people who, have a direct impact into this particular program. So with that being said, when someone has a desire to participate in the program, the first thing that they need to do is they have to apply for the program. So I'm going to introduce Karina, who's one of our eligibility specialists, and she'll have an opportunity to kind of talk about what the process looks like on the front end, what they do as far as qualifying them. And then once they have been determined to be qualified, and then they're able to actually go forward with the house. So we'll let her talk about that process, and then we'll jump back in and kind of tell you what the steps are necessary after they have been deemed to be income eligible to participate in the program.
Hello, everyone. As an eligibility specialist, of course, I am one of the first to, encounter with the applicants. And so starting from the beginning, it's going to be intake. We're going to start off with the pre-application that they fill out with just general information, such as household size, an estimate of annual household income. There's also going to be the intake application, which goes more into depth with more questions about the household income, the household members, and different documents that go along with that application, such as current picture ID, driver's license, along with US passport or birth certificate to show US residency. And then after that, we get into documents for financial documents such as pay stubs, tax returns, bank statements. All of these things are taken and used to calculate the household income, which at that point, the applicant is deemed either eligible or ineligible. Once they are determined eligible to participate in the program, that is when we send them over to Tara for them to move on to the home buying process.
Hi, thanks, Karina. Okay, so One of the things that I do as the real estate liaison is I work with the realtors. Once they've gone through the eligibility side of things and it's confirmed that they do qualify, then they will get with their realtor, they will get with one of you. And you would take them on a tour as normal to go and look at the properties that we have available. Right now, we have a few properties available in Spring, Hockley, Tomball area, and Sherry can speak more about the ones that's coming up, such as Pasadena and so forth. So once they've selected a property that they're interested in, the realtor will then let us know, and we will send our standard contract documents. Majority of them include the TREC 1 to 4 documents that our realtors are more comfortable filling out. We have some additional Harris County documents as well, but you will fill out the documents, send those documents in, as well as the lender will fill their required documents, the pre-approval loan and so forth, send those in, and then I will review all of those documents, communicate with you if there's any changes or any updates that are needed. And once we confirm that all the documents are clear and good to go, then it moves back over to Sherry's side of things, where she will then review the home affordability calculations.
All right, thanks, Karina and Sarah. So just to kind of, I guess, summarize, the program, the applicant, they do need
My
to.
apology, looks like we have a delay with our slides, but we will go over one of the things that's listed on this slide is the plan inventory. Sherry, can you talk about some of the areas that we have currently and planned for upcoming?
Currently, we have houses. We bought 9 homes in the Hockley, which is in the Windrow community. We have an additional 13 homes that are in Spring and Pine Grove. We have 4 homes in Tomball. We have another, actually in totality in Tomball, it's going to be 5. There's 4.
Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. Okay, so right now we do have homes in the Windrow community, as well as in Pine Grove, Drew Mark, and Tomball. Here are the areas in which we do have some homes listed and the list prices for the realtors to be able to go and show their potential clients who are interested. And then that lists the average list price of the homes in the area. And like I said, once the client has selected which home is available, you work with the lender, they get the pre-approval, send everything over, and then it moves forward to see what type of assistance, if needed, that we're able to offer.
Thank you, Tara. So just talking a little bit about the assistance that we provide and how the program works and how it actually makes the home affordable. Our program guidelines that we can provide up to 45% price reduction, and we can make available up to $35,000 down payment assistance, but that is on a as needed basis. And then we also are able to buy down the points or buy down the rate if needed. And we pay all closing costs. So we do our absolute due diligence to make sure that the home is affordable. We do calculations because it's not our desire for people to be able to, not just to purchase the home, but we want them to be able to stay in the home and build that wealth for their family. So once they're approved for a loan, hypothetically, they're approved for a loan. Say if the house is $250,000 and they're approved for $120,000, the $130,000 that we provide in assistance will be placed in what we call the forgivable lien, and the affordability period is 10 years. So in essence, that $130,000 will go away in 10 years. So they purchased the home for $120,000. So that's what makes this program absolutely, fantastic for buyers because again, they don't have to bring the whole amount to the table, and we're able to assist them with all their closing costs and ensure that they can stay in the home. So once they have applied, and then we determine that their home affordability has been met, that they can indeed afford that house, the next step in their process is we execute what we consider to be an option period, which is typically 60 days. So it's, in line with industry standards. We should be able to get them through the entire process within 60 days. During that period, everyone has an opportunity to complete due diligence. We're doing home inspections, appraisals. We're working on award calculations with their lender, finalizing the loan on that end. If they indeed have to apply for the DAP assistance, that's occurring all, simultaneously while we are headed, to closing within that 60-day option period. So once that period is over, they will receive a final notification letter of the amount that assistance that we're going to give them. That assistance goes on a promissory note. Again, like I said, it goes away after 10 years. We head to close, the numbers match, they get their keys, and everyone is excited and happy that we've helped a new home buyer. So that's a little bit about our process. Again, like I just want to reiterate that it's a really, really great program. I don't think I mentioned in the beginning, I'm over the built inventory side. There's literally two sides to the program. There's the built inventory side, and then there's the acreage development side. The built inventory is where I specifically go out to builders and purchase new homes from them, i.e. Syntex, D.R. Horton. We also have some Habitat for Humanity homes. The houses can be have to be located in Harris County, but not City of Houston. So right now, primarily, we're in Katy. I think we didn't mention Katy, but Katy, Hockley, Spring, Tomball. There's a couple of other areas that we will be purchasing homes in the near future. And the acreage development side, we have several acreage developments coming up down the line. They're going to be Ella, Vista, Kenswick, Connerville. So those are acreage sites where Harris County has purchased the land, and we will be developing or building the homes on the land. So you'll hear more about that, coming in the pipeline. I think we're going to be moving forward with the Ella. We should be breaking ground there. We turned a spoonful of dirt not very long ago, so those should be coming up towards the latter part of the summer or early fourth quarter. So again, we'll have additional homes that will be available for low to moderate income families. So that's a little bit about what we do. I hope it makes sense. We definitely are here to answer any questions. We definitely want to make sure as realtors and lenders, we want to get that word out, because right now we can buy all the homes that we want. If we don't have an applicant to put in it, we're just sitting on homes, and that is definitely not our aspiration. We want to get them in this program, get them in the house, and get them as quick as possible. So that's where this comes into play, and where we're really excited to partner with you all, to help us to get the word out about this great program. Michael?
Okay, so is it, I was just making sure, Mary Angie, is it my turn now to facilitate the question and answer?
Yes, if you guys are ready, we have a few questions, and they're all really good questions. So
Yeah, they are actually phenomenal questions. So I'll start with the ones in the chat, and then we'll give an opportunity for, there we go. All right, and we'll give an opportunity for those that are participating. So Mary Angie, the people that are participating, will they be able to speak, or will all the questions have to be filtered through the chat?
if they would like to raise their hands and be on camera or just speak their questions, we can absolutely boost them up to be panelists so they can ask their questions live. I also
Okay.
want to say before you get started, Michael, that the presentation will be shared with you guys alongside the recording, and you can share that recording with anyone in the industry that you think could benefit for this program, which I believe is every realtor. So there is that. Now, Michael, you can continue with the questions.
Okay, awesome. And I want to go ahead and ask for her to raise her hand because I know that she's worked extensively with the county. Catherine Hunter with U.S. Bank. She's also with us with the Houston Black Real Estate Association. So I want to give her an opportunity. I know one of the questions in the chat had to do with lenders that are familiar with the program. So I just want to give her an opportunity to say something as well. So Catherine, if you raise your hand, I can get you to come on. All right, so let's go through the questions. All right, I'm going to scroll to the top. All right, so will we get a copy of the PowerPoint? Yes, we talked about that. All right, one of the questions was, does the owner have to occupy the property for the full 10 years for it to be forgiven? So that's a question, Sherry.
Yes, I mean, they would have to occupy for 10 years for it to be forgiven. Should they desire to move or sell, prior to the 10 years, the assistance would be prorated. That second lien that was put on the house will be prorated, so we would recoup, what hasn't been forgiven. But it is
Okay,
definitely,
so
they can, it's prorated over those. If they stay there 5 years, and 5 years would be prorated.
gotcha. So it's not going to prevent them from being able to sell the house. It's just when they sell it, they will be responsible for paying that lien off.
Exactly.
Gotcha. And then it's just prorated based on how long they stay in the property.
Correct.
All right, perfect. The next question, they put 60-day option period and a question mark. So I guess they have a question around the 60-day option period.
It's a little different than a regular real estate transaction. This particular document, I think of it in a sense of when you go to a new construction where they have their own sales agreement. The option agreement was made specifically for this particular program. So it is a document that we're using at this particular point in time. Now, we do use the TREC contract and addendums and amendment, but that's almost an addendum to the option agreement, if that makes sense. So the option agreement was specifically designed for this program. And again, it gives us the opportunity to do our due diligence during that time period. Now we don't have to, if everyone has completed their due diligence in 45 days, we don't have to wait till 60 days to close. We can get it done as quick as possible, but typically during that option period, that's when we're all completing our due diligence. It's almost like our contract in a sense.
Absolutely. But with you representing the county and the county being the owner of the property, this 60-day option period, I guess it protects the buyer's earnest money that are a part of the program.
We don't require, Michael, we don't require earnest money. We have what we call option fee. Well,
Okay.
you know about option fees, but it's $250. So that's the only really skin in the game that they need to bring, to the table, up front is the $250.
Wow, this thing keeps getting better and better, Sherry, boy. Okay. So we had a question. They said, does the agent need to be a member in this program? I believe what they're asking is there some type of certification process that realtors have to go through?
No, there isn't. The agent, I mean, we have many agents, that have, one transaction with us. What happens is once, if you represent one of our applicants, you will be once they go through eligibility, then they will be sent to Tara, and then she will educate the real estate agent on the process. We have a checklist that we provide, of the documents that's needed, and then she can kind of walk them through, the process. So there isn't any formal training, but we definitely walk you through the process. And once you get through one or two of them, you should be pretty fluent in the process.
Gotcha. All right, that makes a lot of sense. All right, we had a question. Are these homes on HAR or did you say this will be new build homes? So we know that they are new build homes, but are they listed on HAR, Sherry?
No, they're not. We don't list on HAR as Harris County is not a member.
This is true. This is true.
So no, they are
Okay.
not on HAR. There is a newsletter that goes out every month that updates on what we have available, what we have coming up. So we can provide the link to get on that the newsletter. But once the applicant has been determined income eligible, and at that point they can see the properties, we have a site called Bookings where the agent would have to go in and book the appointment to tour the homes. So it's almost
Okay.
like it's almost like our MLS.
Sherry, for a person to get access to that newsletter, where would do they send an email? Is there somewhere where they go and input their information? How does that work?
Gonna find the link and then we'll put it in the
I
chat.
actually just put the link on the chat. So if you want to go ahead and click on that link, you can subscribe to the newsletter.
Thank you.
Look at that. Mary Angie beat me to the punch. Let's go. Okay, let's see. What do we have? Oh, the questions are really coming in now. Okay, we talked about the member, new bill. All right, here's a question. What does a realtor have to do to be educated to work with clients who will benefit from this? Are there other trainings planned? So are there other trainings that are facilitated through the county? I know on our end, as it relates to the Houston Association of Realtors, as well as the Houston Black Real Estate Association, if agents feel like there needs to be more opportunities for training, I know that's something maybe we can facilitate through those associations. But is there anything that the county has planned on doing?
Not that I'm aware of at this point, Michael, but we certainly can partner with you if we need to do some type of training. We can certainly do that. We're open to that for sure.
Okay.
But there isn't anything that's planned at this particular point in time.
Okay, sweet. Okay, we had a question, I guess, from another lender partner that's on with us today. They want to know, can first-time lenders be provided sample soft second lien documents for review?
I'm not sure. I'd have to find out.
Okay. All right, absolutely. Okay. Is there a minimum amount of years a person must keep the home and not sell it? I'm assuming that's the 10-year affordability period?
Correct.
Okay, so to that question, Peggy, the person has to stay in the home for 10 years. Now, as we said earlier, though, if they sell it, it's not that they can't sell it within the 10 years. They can sell it. It's just they'll just be responsible for paying that lien off.
Correct.
Okay, gotcha. Let's see, what is the website where we can see the houses? Okay, I'm assuming when they go to the link, then at that point, they'll be sent the newsletter that has the houses on it.
That's correct, Michael.
Okay, perfect. How often do you all send that newsletter out, Sherry?
Monthly. It usually goes out at the end of each month.
Okay, sweet. How often do you update the newsletter?
Monthly.
And the reason I'm so the reason I'm asking is, if within that 30-day period, one of the houses becomes unavailable, how will, like, if I have someone that's maybe interested in that house, how would I know if it's available or not?
Well, the newsletter is updated monthly, but again, remember, we can't look at the houses until we actually have the applicant has been determined to be income eligible. So it's not, something that, as a real estate agent, you can't just say, I want to go show a client a house if your client isn't in the program. So if they're in the program, then, and their real estate agent has contacted Tara, and when they go into our bookings, at that point, they will actually be able to see which ones are still available, because the ones that are available are not accessible.
I understand. I got you. Okay, Susan asked, you mentioned those affected by Harvey. Did they have to have water in their houses? I think I missed that part where you talked about people and Harvey and are you familiar with what maybe she's asking?
Well, part of the guidelines is 70% or 7 out of 10 applicants have to be directly affected by Harvey. So if they have, I mean, they could have been in a house, they could have been in an apartment, just some type of, they have to have been affected by the storm, because that's where this money came from. And we're not saying that, well, clearly not everyone within the program has been directly affected by it, but that is part of the guidelines that we have to have a certain percentage of people affected by the storm.
How does the program go about verifying what affected by Harvey is? Because my thought is if you were living in Houston, you were affected by Harvey.
Right, I agree. I believe, Karina, you can help me out with this. I believe there's a question in the application that asked them about that.
Yes, so referring to directly or indirectly affected by Harvey, it does not mean that you literally have to have had water in your home. You could have lost your car, you could have lost if you were in any way affected by Harvey, you can mark yes on the application.
Okay, so and again, just for clarity's purposes, when marking yes on that application, it's not as if somebody's going to do this thorough investigation to verify or prove anything as it relates to that question.
Getting closer to closing, there will be verification as far as benefits that have been given to people who were affected by Harvey, such as FEMA or there will be verification done. Yes, if that's your question.
Okay, but say for instance, if I had not received, say I didn't receive any Harvey benefits or anything, and I click yes on my application that I was affected by Harvey, there's no extensive investigation that goes into seeing what that effect looked like, or is it just solely based off of what I submit on the application as I was affected by Harvey, especially since it's one of the requirements for the program?
Solely based off of what information you submit, or you checking yes.
Okay.
But you did not have to have received assistance. Does that make sense?
Yes, it's making sense to me. And if it's not making sense to somebody else, just put it in the program and then I'll revisit that question as we continue to go through. Okay, we had someone ask about additional explanation of the income calculations. So I guess, could you revisit that briefly as it relates to the income calculations?
Yes, currently we are using part 5 for the income calculation. Shortly, we will be moving over to AGI, adjusted gross income. So right now we have been using paycheck stubs, bank statements, Social Security award letters, any type of income that is coming into the household. We would need documents showing how much, how often, even if you are self-employed, we have a form for that. So it's the overall household income, documents showing, like I said, how much and how often. That information is calculated for an annual. We take that number, and for the household size, say for a size of 4, I do apologize, but I don't know the exact cap for a household size of 4. But we take that number, and as long as it is below 80% AMI, you are eligible to participate in the program.
Okay, perfect. And I think this is a great follow-up question, because I know, especially in real estate, we tend to throw around acronyms. So when we say AMI, which is a very important metric when it comes to this program, AMI stands for Area Median Income. And that is a number, and you all correct me if I'm wrong, that's a number that is given at a federal level and is based on the area that the home is being built around determines what that AMI number is going to look like. Is that
Yes,
fair to say?
that is correct.
Okay, good. All right. So if I do believe you all have a flyer, or there is somewhere on your website that shows what the current AMIs are as it relates to household numbers.
Yes, the current one is going to be for 2022. Just keep in mind that those numbers are about to get ready to change again in June.
Gotcha. But when that happens, you all's website will be updated with the new information.
Of course. Mhm.
Of course. All right. Okay. Will buyer know what assistance they are receiving / eligible for when they are completing mortgage application?
Typically, that's a good question. That's a great question. So once, at some point in the process, they do need to get pre-approved, okay, for a loan. So that way, once they're pre-approved, and then they determine that there's a particular house that they desire, then we do home affordability calculations. So I would take the amount that they're approved for and their income and their debts and various things, and with the sales price of the house, but it'll tell me, the calculator will tell me how much assistance they qualify for. So we can write that the sale price can be reduced by up to 45%, but the calculator will tell me how much they qualify for. So they do, they need to come in with an approval amount, and then we work our assistance off of what's needed.
Gotcha. And Sherry, correct me if I'm wrong, based on what I was looking at, the goal for you all is to have people under a certain DTI, and y'all adjust the price of the home or whatever assistance that y'all provide is going to be based on getting them below that DTI. Is that correct?
Not necessarily. I mean, we do have, our debt to income ratio is 39-42, 39 on the front end and 42 on the back. So it takes into consideration their debts, okay, and then on the back end, the home, the affordability of the home, and then it divides it by I forget what it is. Their gross monthly income. So I can't manipulate that part of it or change that part of their DTI. You know what I mean? Because if someone's debt is too high, or the price that they pick, some of these homes are in areas where the taxes are really high. So, they have a PMI on their loan, and there's various, things that I have to account for. I can't change that. You know what I'm saying? So so the calculator would reduce the price of the house, but it doesn't mean that they're eligible, because if they're over that 39-42, they're ineligible. They can't afford the home.
Gotcha. Okay.
So sometimes, so in some cases, we can they can get a house in a place that, in an area that doesn't have high taxes. They can get we can buy down the rate, but sometimes their debt may be so high that there is really nothing I can do to make them qualify because they're outside of that 39-42.
Gotcha. And then at that point, it's just the solution would be we got to pay that debt down somehow.
Yeah, pay the debt down. Yeah, or like I said, perhaps maybe a house in an area where the taxes aren't high. I have to reduce the ratios at somewhere along the line, and obviously I can't control their debt if they can't pay it off. It could be a brand new car that they just got, so, you know what I mean, something like that, or their interest rate, I can buy that down, but sometimes it's just so high that there's really nothing we could do until they get to the point, either pick a house in a different area, or pick a house in a different area.
Yeah. we're gonna exhaust all options.
Yeah, we do our due diligence. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. The goal is, if I have somebody who's qualified for the program, the goal obviously is to put them in a house. So sometimes if it means, putting them in a lower price house, or if it means changing the area, we will definitely do that. We've had someone where, the income at the point when they started is lower than where it is now, and they didn't qualify. But talking with their lender, well, I found out that they're making significantly more money now. So once I put that additional income in, then they qualify now. You know what I mean? So we definitely, do our due diligence to make sure that we can get them in.
Absolutely. Okay, Daisy says she wants just to confirm, for people to be qualified, they have to be low income, and I really don't like that word. So we'll say people have to have an income under 80% AMI, as well as affected by heart.
Correct. I mean, like I said, we do have some that, they can still apply if they haven't been directly affected, but we do have a percentage that we must, obtain. So it's 7 out of 10. So that means 3 people won't be, directly affected. So
Absolutely.
I don't want them not to apply if they, had not.
Okay.
affected.
So just apply regardless.
Right.
Whether you feel like you was affected by HARB or you weren't affected by HARB, you apply anyway.
Right.
Yeah. And then that income piece, it's 80% AMI or lower, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. Let's see, they asked if they're listed. Again, we talked about that. So just make sure you go to the link that Mary Angie put in the chat earlier so you can get on the newsletter list. All right, are the houses built specifically for this program? How would you answer that, Sherry?
No, what we do is, once we have found an area that fits within our guidelines, Harris County, not City of Houston, and the price point of the homes, the houses are, below, 280,000. Anything higher than that is, not necessarily affordable. So as long as they meet our metrics and the builder is willing to sell us the homes, then we buy them. We can buy them. So like I said earlier, we have purchased homes from Syntex. Who else? Habitat. Can't just blank. We're currently going to purchase from DR Horton. So there's some more houses coming in the pipeline soon. So yeah.
Okay, sweet. What's the minimum income needed? We've answered that. So 80% AMI. All right, Nicole asked, would our clients' first step be to connect with one of the liaisons to get started? I believe, Sherry, you correct me if I'm wrong, the first step would be to go and apply. They would apply through the program. Is that?
That would be correct.
Okay, and it says, I think they need to sign up for a home buyer training. Is that right? So yes, it does require an 8-hour HUD certified class, right, Sherry?
Yes, it does.
Okay. It says, if so, do you help them schedule that? So does Harris County assist with scheduling the HUD certified class, or is it up to the applicant and maybe those guiding the applicant to assist with the class?
Karina?
Yes, we do have a list of class partners. It is done third party, so it is up to the applicant to go ahead and get scheduled for the home buyers course, take the class, receive the certificate. The certificate is what's needed to go into the file.
Gotcha. And I want to make everyone aware that the Houston Black Real Estate Association, we do have an 8-hour HUD certificate class that we host every month at no cost. So if you have clients that are in need of that certificate, every month we have that class that we host, so your clients and applicants will be able to get qualified for it. Okay, let's see. Does Social Security recipients count for income?
Yes, it does count as unearned income.
Okay, good. All right, Pedro asks, if a lender is approved to work with the Harris County down payment assistance, are they also an approved lender to work with the new construction program?
Yes.
Perfect. All right. See, I like the questions that's straight to the answer. All right. Let's see. Chrissy wants to know, can you give us an idea of the current AMI so we can get an idea of what the cap is for income to qualify? With that question, Chrissy and Sherry, you correct me if I'm wrong. If they go to Harris Recovery, that information is listed on there already, right?
Yes.
We go by
Okay.
the HUD guidelines. So if I am able to provide that information, I do apologize, my laptop went dead. But if that's something that I can't get to you right now, it is also on the HUD website.
Yeah, but I
And
think
just to let everyone know, I did put the website as well on the chat, and I will just re-enter it so that you have it.
Thank you.
okay. So that's $250. All right. What about closing costs? Question mark.
We pay all closing costs. I mean, so like I said earlier, you know, once all the numbers have been calculated, it will tell me what the max assistance I can give them is. That is inclusive of the price reduction as well as closing. Now, if they max out what single family new construction can provide, then they can tap into the $35,000 DAP assistance as well. And if they max all of that out, then it's quite possible that they would have to bring some money to the table. But that's few and far between, but it does happen.
Gotcha. Okay. Christy asks, who picks the lender? They pick the lender.
Yes, correct.
Okay. But the lender does have to be certified through the county, either the down payment assistance or does Harris County have a specific certification process that lenders have to go through?
They have to contact lending services, and yes, I believe they do have training that they go through over there. And once they do that, you know, verify their credentials and they've met I think it's 8 hours or whatever the training is, then at that point they would be on DAP preferred lending list, and we get our list really from that list.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So the applicant has the ability to pick their lender as long as the lender has been certified and approved through you all's process.
Right. Correct. And if they don't have one, we do provide them with a list, you know, preferred lender list. And then they can choose from there.
Okay, perfect. Okay, Tanya asks, what is the requirement for the program? Well, Tanya, we're gonna have to send you a link to the video and you got to rewatch it. We went through that already. Okay. So Stacy says, and again, if you registered for the webinar, you are going to get a copy of the presentation and a copy of the link. So you'll have that. All right, Stacy. So can a realtor become a referral partner with you all, or the client needs to bring us into the loop? I believe maybe she's asking, does Harris County, is there like a formalized referral partner program that you all have?
We have a preferred realtor list as well. So if the client, once the applicant comes out of eligibility, and then Karina sends them to Tara, she would, you know, introduce herself and ask them if they're working with a realtor as well as a lender. If they're not, then we will provide them with a list, and then they could interview from that list to determine who they, you know, want to work with.
Gotcha. And I already know what the people on this call are thinking. What has to happen for a realtor to get on your preferred realtor list?
Close a deal. I mean,
come with someone first.
Yeah, yes. It's real simple. Just one. Just give us one.
And then that's your golden ticket. One closing with them. I got you. Okay, let's see. It says, will we receive a list of lenders to apply through? And do they apply through the lender after the pre-qualification is approved? As I recall, based on what I saw when you were going through the process, Sherry, the applicant fills out the county's information first, And it seems like they can kind of do it simultaneously as they're going through you all's application process and submitting their information to you all. They could be doing the same thing with the lender. Is that fair to say?
It's fair to say, but I would probably wait until they have been determined to be income eligible, because if they're, for instance, I know that we've had someone who was over the AMI. So if you're over the AMI, then you're not going to qualify for the program. So it wouldn't make sense to get the loan just quite yet. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I would probably wait until they say, yes, you have been determined to be income eligible. And at that point, then they should be getting pre-approved.
Gotcha. And then how do they go about getting the list of lenders that are approved?
Tara would send it to them if they're not working with one when they come into the process, because there's a question on their application that asks if they're working with a real estate agent as well as a lender. And if they're not,
Gotcha.
to them once they have been determined to be income eligible and ready to move forward with touring the homes.
So that's already a part of the process. So once they fill out the information in the application, and if they check no to a realtor and no to a lender, once they're approved, they're income eligible, then it's already a part of you all's process to send them that information.
Well, she asked, once they're sent over to Tara, she'll ask them when she's introducing herself, you know, if you're not working with a lender, you know, a real estate agent, you know, please let me know, we'll provide you with the list, you know, so it'll come up in the, you know, the initial contact that she has with them.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so Stacy asked again about the houses being built specifically for this program. I think what they're asking, Sherry, is that these homes that you all are selling, that the county is selling, will y'all sell these homes to people that are not in the program?
No, these homes were purchased specifically for the program.
Okay, so they have to be purchased for this program. I mean, they have to be purchased by someone going through this program.
Correct.
Okay. Okay, so that answers that question. Let's see, where and how can I apply? I think we put the link in there for that already. Is there a minimum credit score? I think I know the answer to it, Sherry. The credit score is based, it's really according to the lender, not necessarily you all's program. Y'all is more income based, not necessarily credit based.
Correct. I mean, that makes sense. I mean, obviously, you know, they have to have a loan. They have to be able to get a loan. So clearly,
Right.
you know, they have to, I would say, what is it, 640? You know, so.
Yeah. Well, as long as they can get approved, whatever the score is, if the lender will approve them and it fits you all's income guidelines, then it shouldn't be an issue.
Right. And then the thing is too, just so we know, I don't think it's been touched on. We look at household income. So for instance, the applicant, you know, their income, I don't know, I'm just gonna throw a number out, might be 60,000, but the household income is 70,000. When the calculations are being done, it's being done based upon household income. Now that loan part, now that will determine how much, you know, reduction they get and how much assistance they get, but it won't necessarily, it's not going to determine all the factors. You know, it doesn't determine all the factors just based upon the one applicant. We look at household income when we look at the final numbers. I don't know if that makes sense, but it makes sense in my mind. I'm just trying to figure out how to convey it in a way that makes sense.
Absolutely. No, absolutely.
Did that make sense though, Michael, for real?
Okay, do it one more time, Sherry.
Okay, so in theory, say there's 6 people in the house, but there's only one person on the loan. When I get the loan amount will help me, I will plug in what they're approved for, and it will tell me how much assistance they need. But I look at the household income when I determine the DTI, if the truth be told. You know, the affordability of the house is based upon the total household income and not just the applicant's income.
Okay, I got you. Which is awesome.
The loan applicant's income, I should say. Oh, Catherine.
Okay.
Maybe Catherine can clarify that better.
Yeah, when we bring Catherine on, maybe she can answer that. All right. Mary Angie, let me I just want to get clarification on when we're scheduled to end the webinar. when are we scheduled for the webinar to end? Because I still have questions coming in, and I also still want to give Catherine an opportunity to speak.
Yeah, so the webinar is scheduled to end at 1:30, so just keep going. And if people are still around, we can answer those questions. And if you guys have the time to as well, we can still go ahead and answer those questions. And I'm gonna go ahead and add the Q&A portion of the presentation here on the chat, so you can kind of review that as well. So it's the most asked questions that Sherry have gotten, so that you have an immediate response to that while we have Catherine on.
Oh, that'll be perfect. That'll be perfect. Okay. I think Stacy asked, as we identify clients that could benefit from this program, what are the questions we need to ask to qualify that? And again, you correct me if I'm wrong, Sherry, I think maybe the best practice would be for the person to go and just go through the application process. What are your thoughts? Sherry, did I lose?
I'm sorry, I was on mute, but
Okay.
they should definitely apply.
Yeah, I mean, no need to overthink it. If someone's interested, have them go through the application process, and I feel like everything will be fleshed out by doing it that way.
Michael, I'm on if you can hear me. I've been having my hand up.
Oh, yeah. So
can
what I
hear
was
me?
going to do, Catherine, yeah, I can hear you. What I was going to do was go through the questions. That's why I'd asked about that time. So I'm going to give you a time slot to speak about it, but I just kind of wanted to see if I can get through as many people's questions, and then I was going to pull you in. All right. Let's see. Doris says, can any seller ask to have his house be eligible for this program? That's a good question. But it has to be new construction, right, Sherry?
Buy new homes. This is the single family new construction. So all these homes are who never lived in before homes.
They have to be new. Now I'll replace seller with builder. If there's a builder that has a home that's in the county but not in the city, or is there only a certain builders that you all purchase from?
No, I mean, but we want to purchase homes in areas that our applicants request. So like our top areas right now are like Katy, Hockley, Spring. So
Okay.
we certainly, we just don't, want to get in the habit of just buying houses and we have inventory, you know what I mean? So we want them to be in areas that people are requesting, but if it's a builder who has a home in an area that has been requested, we certainly would buy a home from them. Sure.
Oh, okay, perfect. All right, so they ask about the pre-qualification application. So that's the link that we've sent. Question asks, what if the buyer dies?
I don't. Sorry.
maybe they're asking. Okay, maybe the buyer dies within, say, that 10-year affordability period, and maybe the estate wants to sell the property, but I'm assuming in that instance they would just be responsible for covering the difference of the lien.
Correct. Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, that's what I would think. I think that's what you're asking, Doris. If not, then
I
drop it back in there again.
In my mind, I think it would be just like, any other, homeowner that passed and their house wasn't paid for yet,
Yeah, that's what I would think. Okay, let's see. Roxy wants to make sure that when we send the recording, that the link to the newsletter be sent as well, because she can't click on it right now because she's driving. Okay, Peggy talks about directly or indirectly affected by Harvey. I think, again, at that point, Peggy, just when they fill out the application, I don't think it's a need to really overthink it. Not everybody, they're not looking for 100% 100% of the people to be affected by Harvey. So whether they have or whether they have not, or whether they feel like they were or they were not, still apply for the program. Right, Sherry?
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. Did you have to live in Harris County in August 2017? So they want to know if you had to be living in Harris County in 2017 when Harvey hit. I'm assuming they're asking that.
Yes.
And Okay, there we go. All right. All right. So this person, I'm gonna read the question and then I'm gonna answer it for you, Sherry. They want to know how much would the mortgage on a home that was $250,000 in this program be for the client? Okay, that is not something that we can answer right now. That's something that they would have to go through the process. Their information would have to be looked at. You know, you have to take consideration of when they're going through the application process with the lender. So that's kind of above the scope of this talk for today. Is that a fair way to answer that, Sherry?
I would think so, yeah. Well, I mean, again, it's many factors, household
Right.
income, how much they approve for, where they purchased it at, the taxes, the interest rate, everything that goes into determining a payment, we would need to know.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so here's a question. How does the program know the applicant is in line? You all do your due diligence. I mean, I think that's kind of how y'all answer that question, huh, Sherry?
Yeah, and this is federal money. So, I mean, if, people want to lie and go to jail, then, have at it.
Say that's on them. All right.
But we do verify, when they, this is the thing that I think has happened. Someone will put, certain information on our application to qualify. And then when we compare our numbers with the loan officers, they don't match up, so they, or they say this has happened before. They put that they're never been married or that they're divorced and they're really not, so we find that out when they put on their loan application married, you know what I'm saying? So we do, do our due diligence and to verify the information that has been submitted as best we can. Now, do people lie? Sure they do. Do they get away with it? I'm sure they do. But I mean, it's federal money.
Okay, perfect. Okay, I'm gonna stop here with the questions. You can still put your question in the chat, but I do want to go ahead and bring Catherine Jones Hunter on, allow her to speak. And then Catherine, after you speak, I'm gonna keep you on because I'm starting to see some lender questions that I feel like that you could bring guidance to from the panel. So Catherine, go ahead and come on, introduce yourself. I know I've known Catherine for a long time. We've worked together. Matter of fact, she personally is the one that exposed me to what the county was doing. And her and US Bank are already doing a number of things to give more exposure to the program, as well as have been working with clients in the program. So she's a great resource. I know a lot of you all have been asking about lenders, so she's a great resource. So go ahead, Catherine.
Good afternoon, everyone. My camera is not coming on for some reason, but I thank you, Michael, for allowing me the time. I've been trying to put some responses in the chat, but everything, I think it only goes to the host or the panelists, so the attendees may not be receiving it. One, I would like to tell everyone this is a phenomenal program, and two, you do not have to overthink it. From what I've heard, I do know that there's a two-road panel into this, and one is be it that the clients are pre-approved, you have pre-approved buyers, and that lender that's participating helps make the determination in regards to income, if this will be a suitable client, and if they can, is a suitable referral into the program. And then, of course, those that want to just have them go to have the client go to do the eligibility process with the client. And I'm not saying this from a lender's perspective or lender benefit, what I'm saying just to help make this, keep it smooth and us keep things moving, especially as the volume is and awareness is increasing. Your client needs to be mortgage pre-approved. You need a mortgage pre-approval. And in general, when working with the down payment assistance program, I think in the restrictive guidelines for the program, the credit score was 580. But I know for most lenders, when accepting a program, whatever that minimum floor is, so even if the county does not have a credit score requirement, that lender has a credit score requirement. And when in any situation when there's a down payment assistance program, the mortgage guidelines are going to always supersede the assistance. They can't get the assistance if they don't have the mortgage. So just thinking it through, if your clients are pre-approved, that lender is also looking at the debt. And if there's no room for additional mortgage payment, this is great. There's nothing else out here like it in regards to the amount of subsidies and discounts that's being given to make the home affordable. But if they don't have any room to squeeze in at least a $1,300 a month mortgage, because at the end of the day, with the properties that's currently available, that's about the average of what the mortgage payment looks like, $1,300, even on a $108,000 loan amount, then there's no room for them. The county can say, yes, they're income qualified, but if they can't get mortgage payment in there, they still won't be able to proceed. And so that makes it kind of cumbersome for the client when they've been told by a program that, yes, you qualify, then it's kind of hard for them to absorb. Oh, I can't get they say I'm qualified and you're not saying I can't get a mortgage. That makes it difficult. If they are pre-approved and they go in, and then that kind of helps move the process through. When you all were asking about the mortgage payment or the income, it's also important to know the lender is going to count their income, qualifying income for the mortgage one way. We're not looking at the brother that may be in the house or the adult son that may be in the house that's working, or estranged spouses. Keep in mind that in Texas only recognizes married, single, or married. There is no in between. And single, married, or divorced, let me say that. And so for those, there are certain situations, and we've been working with the program since May of last year. There are quite a few situations where we see they think that if they are estranged, that person, that non-purchasing spouse, is not a part of this. Well, technically they are. So those are pieces that if you're working with a lender that's familiar with affordable lending and do the programs, they can help guide this. And then also that lender is gonna, if you're working with the client that's been pre-approved, that lender is looking at the properties that's currently available and running those numbers to ensure that the areas that they're trying to go to, be it with taxes and all, would be a good fit. So I think if to say all of that, the team at this particular team at Harris County, they are phenomenal in responding. They're phenomenal in helping to try to make things work. She started it off by saying 70% of the base of the clients that they're trying to assist must be Harvey affected individuals. So that also means that all the clients that go through the program would not have been affected by Harvey. So it's not worth us, giving anybody any guidance to say, oh, you just got to say that you were living in Houston when Harvey hit. The truth is the truth, and this is federal dollars. And when you're talking about mortgage funds and the program funds, we don't want any falsehoods on any of those applications. Let's see. The down payment is also important to note that when they qualify or those that are in needing of the bucket that involves the down payment assistance, the $35,000, the up to $35,000, that is a separate process that those clients, in addition to being processed by SFNC, they also have to be processed by the DAP department. So it's a separate, those criteria still have to be met. Closing costs, your client, what we have found, 2% and interest rate reduction, the county is willing to cover. But you have to watch those CLTV numbers to ensure that for most of us, we have to stay within 105% CLTV. So when you got $100 and some $1,000 on average, $119,000 coming off the sales price of the house, and then we may be throwing $30,000 in there for down payment assistance, your closing cost is probably going to get maxed out at about $9,000 to $11,000. It just depends on what the program type is. The portion that's for price reduction, it is considered down payment. So if they're not getting the down payment assistance funds, still that client is only obligated to do the 250 for the option period. The money that's given, if it's 119 that's coming off the sales price, that is counted towards that client's minimum investment requirement. So it's not only price reduction, it is classified as down payment assistance. And then, of course, if you're getting down payment assistance, those funds go strictly towards the down payment. And then the closing cost money is allocated strictly towards the closing costs. Other than that, it's a great program to have in your arsenal. It's a great program for us to to continue to support, wrap our arms around, and really get people that have been approved. We all have tons of them that have been approved in that 1,300 to 1,500, 1,700 space, and we just have not been able to find them anything. This allows them to walk into a brand new home. The county pays for all the inspections. The county will not close on the home until it's completely ready to go against HUD specifications. It's just nothing else out there like it. And if you got lender partners that needs to call and ask a question, I don't mind answering a question. I can't get overwhelmed with that, but I would gladly try to assist to make sure your clients are being, I will assist your clients if you need it, but if you have a lender partner that you just want to get up to speed, I don't mind answering those questions as well. Thank you all.
Well, that's awesome, Catherine, and that's definitely appreciated that you would do something like that just to assist. You know, again, everybody that's on this panel is intentional about and serious about housing attainability. Obviously, HAR, the Houston Association of Realtors, is very intentional about housing attainability, you know, creating an advisory group around it. The Houston Black Real Estate Association is serious about housing attainability. It's one of the biggest principles for which the organization was founded on in 1949. And we already can see the county's commitment to housing attainability. So we want to work together in making that happen. And Catherine's shown that as well in what she's offering and helping other lenders. So Catherine, I'm going to continue going through asking the questions. If I feel like it's a lender question, Catherine, I may pose it to you. So is that fair?
I'm here because I can't respond in the chat. It only comes to you all. So please, I'm here.
Okay, perfect. Let's see. Okay. Okay, Mike, it's three. Okay, so the commission. So commission to buyer agent, Sherry, is 3%. Is that correct?
Not exactly. It's 3% minus the closing cost assistant provided to the buyer.
Give me an example of what that may look like. Look, I know I'm not the only realtor that want to ask that.
On to the next one, okay?
Okay. Okay, let's see. Chrissy asked, do you have a social media ready brochure that we could put on social media?
We do have brochures, but I know that anything that anyone uses on their social media, the link needs to come back to Harris County.
Okay.
But we do have brochures and stuff that we can provide. If they could just reach out to us a little bit, after this, we'll get some information to them.
Okay. So you just have to send it. You would have to send the information to them directly.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And when you say reach out to you, is that them going to the link and registering for the newsletter, or are you going to provide your contact information for them?
I'll put the contact information in there in the chat.
Perfect.
So they can see it.
Well, Mary Angie, would you be able to put Sherry's contact information in the chat for everyone to see?
Yes, and I also put the email for the person that they need to reach out to once they feel ready to help a client.
Okay, perfect. All right, let's see. Hey, look, they asking about this commission, Sherry. They say, so if the client gets $9,000 in closing cost assistance, then that is subtracted from the 3% commission.
Let me
Is
find
that
one, Michael. I'm gonna find one, okay?
okay? All right, Sherry gonna find one, y'all. Y'all be patient. Okay, let's see. Daisy asked, "Is there a Houston Latino Association?" All right. There is the National Association of Hispanic Real Estate Professionals. If you want to know more information about that, you can reach out to me, and I can let you make you aware of that organization. Oh, it looks like Mary Angie answered it already. Mary Angie, you are on it. Let's go. Okay. Got that. Approval. Okay, Catherine, I do have some people here that are like asking for a scenario. They're asking scenario-based questions, like if the client is approved for 250,000, they get assistance. Like, is it possible to maybe run through a scenario? I know you worked on one in the past, on some in the past. Are you in a position to do something like that?
Sure. It looks like
Okay.
this, Michael. When
Yeah.
when you gain access to the county's listings for the homes, they have the sales price for the homes on there. The typical
Hmm.
sales price runs from 250. Well, right now, including the change that was recently made, it's 260 till about 290. Right? I haven't seen
Okay.
anything over 300 as of this point.
Hmm.
First things first, if that client, and that's why I kind of advocate for the home buyer to be pre-approved first. The sales price is 260. Let's just say the client qualifies for $1,300. If the sales price is 260 and I'm taking 45% off of that, that's 260 times, let's just say, that brings the loan amount down to 143. If we go up, we using the full 45%. Everybody will not get the full 45%. What I'm giving you is extreme case scenario, because what I've figured out is that right now with the list of homes, the minimum mortgage payment is going to be about $1,300. So if I've gotten my loan amount down to 143 based off of the 45% sales price, then one of the clients we're working with right now, she still was over. She was over on DTI. So that's when I back into the 35,000. I needed X amount of dollars. In her case, I needed the $30,000 also to get her down to $108,000. So I've maxed out everything I could on the assistance, and that's what got her down. And include knowing that they will give up to 2% to buy down the interest rate. Her max payment is $1,320, including the HOA for one of the communities. No MI, so this is a conventional loan, no MI, but inclusive of taxes and insurance. So that scenario is a minimum of a $1,300 mortgage payment. Now, if I had somebody that was at 100 that could afford a $1,700 payment, they can say you can look at a $280,000 house, because when I do 280 times 55%, my loan amount goes down to 154. They don't even need the full 45% and the discount. They would probably only use maybe 35% of it. So that's how you back into the numbers, and that's why it's important to know what that client actually can do in a mortgage payment. Even the income eligibility piece of it, for me, when I'm speaking to a client, the client that's being referred into me to want to know if they can qualify, I'm asking how many people are in your household. I'm looking at the 80% AF in my chart. I know that if it's 2 people, it's $56,000. So the household piece of it, that's an easy calculation if they're being forthcoming with how much household income they have. But they may not be able to use all of that 56,000. They may only be able to use 40,000 for the loan calculation. And depending on what debts they have, if it exceeds, if everything I do, maximizing every allocation of assistance still takes them above my 45% max that the county is going to allow, they're not going to be a good fit for the program. Now, if the county, when we first started out, the county had some homes that were in Katy that was like at 195, and of course they are gone. you know, with everything that they're being able to find out in the market now, not being less than 260-ish or so, that's just how the numbers fall. This
Gotcha.
program is not for everybody. We have, I think Mr. Renee Martinez may be on as well. We have another catch-all, which is the County Community Land Trust Program. They have some things going on as well for as an additional resource. This program is ideal for the 80% AFMI client that can afford at least a $1,300 a month mortgage and household income is within the guidelines. That's the profile of this client.
Okay. I really appreciate you doing that for us, Catherine. I do believe that, you know, the information that we provided here today, because we got about a little more than 10 more minutes left in the webinar. But I do really believe that the information that was provided today from Sherry and her team, Tara, with Catherine, that it can really assist in the Houston Black Real Estate Association and the Houston Association of Realtors achieving the goals that we've set forth as it relates to housing attainability. What I want to do is I'm looking through the chat, so I don't see any additional questions that anybody else has. So if you have another question, you want to kind of put it in the chat real quick before we wrap up, go ahead and do that. At this point, Mary Angie, I would like to just speak a little bit about what the Houston Black Real Estate Association has coming up for our Realtors Week. Okay, we do have some additional events that are taking place. I know tomorrow we have we have events throughout the week. So we have events tomorrow, we have an event Friday, and then we cap it off with our gala, which we're having on Saturday. It's going to be a phenomenal event, estimated over between 300 and 350 participants. It's going to be a great time that we're going to spend together. I encourage everyone to go to hbreahouston.org. You can learn more about Realtors Week, so you all can continue to engage in what we're doing this week. And then you can also get your tickets or participate in the gala that we're doing on Saturday. Also, the HAR has a plan through the advisory group. We have a plan to do more webinars like this. Is that I'm telling the truth, right, Mary? So we have a plan on doing more webinars like this through housing attainability, where we're going to be bringing you information and resources that you can utilize, tools that you can utilize to help more people attain homeownership. So I know Catherine spoke about another program that the county has, Community Land Trust. So we may look at bringing them on, and they can speak and really showcase what they're able to provide as well as we navigate that space. So with that being said, Mary Angie, I don't see any more questions. So you want to take over from here?
Absolutely. And thank you so much for the speakers today. Thank you so much for speaking about this program, which I think is beneficial for not only realtors, but for their clients. And thank you everyone that took the time to attend today. And since Michael did a plug, I'll do a plug as well. Like I mentioned at the beginning of this webinar, April is National Fair Housing Month. But just like Michael mentioned, it does not mean that we are only going to talk about housing affordability this month. We're going to talk about it throughout the years and the years to come, because we believe that it's very important for everyone to become homeowners. But we do have another webinar happening tomorrow, April 20th. I know tax season will end yesterday, but we want to give you the right tools to start tax season this year and not wait for next year in the last minute. So I will share the link to that below on the chat. And I will also share a link for Monday's webinar, which talks all about stereotypes and the stereotypes that our realtors have experienced, not only with them, but their clients, and how they have overcome that. The link to register for both of those webinars will be in the chat right now. I don't think I see any other questions, but again, this webinar was not—
Sherry, let me jump in, Mary Angie. Sherry has her hand up. So I think Sherry might be finna address that commission question that everybody has.
Okay, so if the contract price is $280, I don't know why I wasn't thinking, but if it's $280 and we give them $15,000 in closing cost assistance, So it's 280 minus the 15, so the 3% is paid off the 265.
Okay, so it's not, whew, Sherry, so it's not
Complicated.
off the commission, it's off the price.
Yes.
Okay, and then you guys calculate the 3% of the price.
That makes
Okay,
sense. I mean, it's not,
yes.
I don't know why we overcomplicated that.
Yeah,
That's all I
yeah,
had.
look, they was freaking out. We were freaking out, Sherry. We was like, what is this? I'm gonna get $2. What am I doing? Okay, so it makes sense now.
Sorry, Michael. Got it now? Okay.
Yeah, but they got it. We got it now. I'm seeing them. They're responding in the chat now, so they got it now. They had a breath. You've given them a breath of fresh air.
Thank you.
All right, sweet. All right. I think it looks like that's it, Mary Angie. You have anything else?
I think that's it. Thank you so much for joining us. And you will receive a copy of this presentation. You will receive a copy of the recording webinar, and you will receive a link to the newsletter and all the information that you need to be part of this amazing program. And again, thank you so much, Sherry, Tara, Michael, Karina. We really appreciate you being here today.
All right. Y'all have a great one.
Catherine.
Thank
Thank you
you.
all.
Thank you all. Thank you. Is Shirley Penn McAfee at usbank.com too. She's very versed in the program. So thank you all.